Good afternoon. This is Gillian Mamaclay, and today I will be presenting the first part of the sixth chapter of Stephen Johnson's book, Where Good Ideas Come From. And this chapter is entitled Exaptation. So, before we get to the formal definition of exaptation, allow me to give you an idea of how this whole concept works. Back in the day, a Roman historian named Pliny the Elder created a proto-encyclopedia entitled Naturalis Historiae. In this proto-encyclopedia, Pliny the Elder talked about how winemakers in his time have invented a new way to produce wine, and this is through the invention of the screw press. The screw press concentrated pressure upon broad planks, which were placed over grapes, and these broad planks were also covered with heavy weights, and thus the grapes beneath them were crushed or mashed, and wine was produced. The screw press enabled the mass production of wine, and this invention survived through the Dark Ages. By the 1400s, vineyards were already abundant in places where it was really hard to grow grapes, such as Rhineland, which is a German region. Around the 1400s, a certain Rhineland entrepreneur named Johannes Gutenberg decided that the screw press can not only be used to produce wine, but also to produce texts. And so, the printing press was invented. Most historians would describe this as a classic combinatorial innovation, as its parts were separately developed even before they were put together to form the printing press. Basically, what Gutenberg did was he borrowed technology from a different field in order to solve a completely unrelated problem. And this could be seen in the really far connection or correlation between the production of wine and the production of texts. Stephen Johnson's own words, he took a machine designed to get people drunk and turned it into an engine for mass communication. Now, to get to the formal definition of exaptation, which is given by evolutionary biologists, this is when an organism develops a trait optimized for a specific use, but then the trait gets hijacked for a completely different function. In Stephen Jay Gould and Elizabeth Verba's essay, they used bird feathers as a classic example of exaptation. Bird feathers were initially developed to give warmth to non-flying dinosaurs to help them against the cold weather. But then some of their descendants, one of them being the Archaeopteryx, decided to experiment with flight, and they discovered that bird feathers are actually really helpful for airflow control. Now, bird feathers don't only evolve for temperature regulation, but also for flight as well. With this, we could say that a feather adapted for warmth is now accepted for flight. Exaptation also plays a crucial role in the argument of Darwinism versus intelligent design. Those on the side of intelligent design would argue that there is a God who makes evolution possible because natural selection couldn't possibly know that something could evolve into something with a different purpose, such as the bird feathers, which were initially made for temperature regulation, developing into something for flight or for airflow control. On the other hand, those who support Darwinism would argue that no, you don't need a God to have this, to have evolution, because these things happen randomly through random mutations, through random happenings, such as the Archaeopteryx accidentally discovering that feathers could actually be helpful for airflow control. So basically, exaptation tells us that one thing doesn't just have a single purpose. It could have multiple purposes, and we just have to figure out how to accept